Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Rosalind Henderson, and thank you for being here this afternoon. You are joining Entrepreneurs Double Your Income by Mastering Leadership Skills. And our vision is very, very simple. We want to help entrepreneurs continuously upgrade their beliefs, behaviors, thoughts, and emotions through proven tools so that they can double their income. And I have someone here who can help us double our income. We have the sales master, the sales guru, Eric Lofholm here. He's been a coach of mine for, I don't know, many years and has made a big difference in my life. What he's done for me, he's done for thousands internationally. He's been doing this for how long now, Eric? Over 20 years?
Yes.
Being a sales coach. And I am so over the moon that he's here with us. We're going to talk a little bit today about two areas in which a lot of us entrepreneurs struggle, and that is in script writing and in handling objections. Welcome, Eric.
Rosalind, I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited for everyone that's going to be watching this to learn some information, to be more successful and get more clients and make more money and grow our businesses.
Absolutely. And, I have come across a number of sales coaches, but few talk about script writing and the importance of it. And I find it to be really important that we have some kind of pattern or some kind of way to put our words in order to impact the sales presentation. Otherwise, we're winging it. So can you talk to us a little bit more about the importance of creating scripts?
Yeah. And where I got connected to scripting is from my mentor, Dr. Donald Moyne. And had I not met him back in the early 1990s, I never would have been drawn to harness the power of sales scripting. It's really not that much of a talked about topic. In sales, we hear about generating leads and setting appointments, closing sales, enrollment, but we really don't hear a lot about scripting. And when I was about to be fired from my first job because I couldn't sell and I missed the quota 2 months in a row, I was introduced to Dr. Donald Moyne, and I had never heard of him up until that point. And what I discovered was he wrote a PhD dissertation on what separates average salespeople and sales superstars. What makes somebody a sales superstar? And when he did the research for the dissertation, he would observe these superstars in action. He interviewed them, but he also watched what they did. And so one of his questions might be, well, do you use sales scripts? And a lot of times they said no. And then he would watch them, and he'd watch them deliver several presentations, and he found they told the same stories. They asked the same probing questions. They closed in a similar way or the same way. And he observed that they were using these language patterns repeatedly, but they might not even be aware that they were doing it. And so people don't always know their own secret sauce. They just do what they do. And so what he discovered was if you modeled language patterns of sales superstars, if you modeled their probing questions, if you modeled the sequencing of their presentation, you could produce similar results. So he writes this dissertation, and he then plans on becoming a college professor. And somebody on Wall Street got a hold of the dissertation and realized he could explain sales better than they could, even though they were a sales manager. And they called him up and asked him if he would fly out to New York and train the sales team, because they said, you know it better than we do as far as the structure of how to become a sales champion. And then that took Dr. Moyne's career in a different path, and he became a sales consultant. So when I'm about to be fired from my job, I'm introduced to the idea of sales scripting, which is simply preparing your presentation in advance so you know what you're going to say, when you're going to say it, how you're going to say it, why you're going to say it. And instantly, my sales increased, and I've gone on to do millions and millions of dollars in sales since then. And what I learned is the power of sales scripting. Now, for those of you that are watching this right now, you might have resistance to scripting because people typically associate scripting as it's canned, rehearsed, mechanical, inauthentic. They go, Eric, it's just not me. I don't want to be scripted. And so the golden nugget here is the definition of a script. And that is words in sequence that have meaning. So when I use the word scripting, it's words in sequence that have meaning. What does that mean? Well, if you're talking and making sense, you're using a script. Because if you're not talking and making sense, that's gibberish.
Right.
And none of us talking gibberish. So if you go on your next sales presentation and you wing it, it's still a script based on the definition of a script. So what does that all mean? That means that there's no reason to resist a script because you're using one anyway. Okay.
Right.
So
right.
the real golden nugget here is preparation, preparation, preparation. Prior to going into your presentation, determine the order in which you're going to deliver your presentation. That's the outline. And then each outline point becomes its own talk track or sales script.
Mm-hmm.
So what that all means is simply this. If you improve the quality of your words, you will make more sales. And so this is what I've been teaching now for a little over 20 years, helping people improve their talk tracks. And there's all these things that you can do in a presentation to predictably make it more persuasive. So it's not, will it work? It might work. I hope it works. It should work. No, it will work. If you add in the best practices and these scripting principles, you can instantly make your presentations more persuasive.
Wow, that's powerful. So in what ways can you make your scripting more persuasive? Are there some general principles for that?
Absolutely. So we can look at each section of the presentation.
Yes.
And we can start with trust and rapport. First thing that we want to do in the presentation. So you're going to use scripts that build trust and rapport.
Mm-hmm.
So two of my daughters are in cheerleading. And let's just say I was selling to you and I saw on Facebook that you made some comment about one of your daughters that does cheerleading. So I might say, Rosalind, I noticed that your daughter's in cheerleading. My two daughters are in cheerleading as well. How long has your daughter been in cheer?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to get all excited because you get to talk about your daughter. Okay?
Yes.
And so we have common ground in that example. My daughter cheers your daughter, if that was true. Okay. And then I get you talking about your daughter. And what does that do to the rapport? It tightens the rapport. It strengthens the rapport. So I can go in before it even started my presentation and know if I bring up cheerleading with Rosalind, there's a really good possibility it's going to build trust and rapport. Another thing that builds rapport is humor. So you probably heard me say many times in my speeches, I'll say, I was very successful right out of high school. My first job I ever had, I made over 100,000. You'd all agree that's pretty good, right? And then people go, yeah, that's good. And I go, I didn't make over $100,000. I made over 100,000 hamburgers. I was a cook at McDonald's. And I show the photo of me at McDonald's and people laugh.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay?
Yes.
That's a humor script. So that story is strategic. It's not some random thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not just saying it to get a laugh. I'm saying it to build rapport and then also to say, I'm not a born sales superstar. I started off as a cook at McDonald's. My first year in sales, I was the bottom producer. So the strategy behind the story is relatability. Because if my dad, he wasn't a VP of sales, but let's say he was, and let's say I was attending my dad's sales meeting since age 15, right? It wouldn't be that impressive that I became a sales trainer. It's like,
exactly,
you were mentored for this, but that's not my story. I'm a college dropout, former cook at McDonald's, bottom producer for an entire year. And then I got professionally trained and I became effective in sales. So the story is strategic, but it also builds rapport. And it doesn't matter if I'm over in Malaysia or Singapore, or I'm doing a webinar for somebody in Australia, or the country doesn't matter. It's rapport is a global concept. It's a universal skill set to build relationship with somebody. So what does that all mean? That means go into your presentation with talk tracks that are going to predictably build rapport. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to identify customer needs. So the talk tracks there are the probing questions. So I might say, if I was selling to somebody, sales training, what's your biggest sales challenge? And they might say closing. Oh, okay. Well, imagine if you got better at closing, how would that feel? Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. I can predict what they're going to say. How much more money do you think you could make a month if you got better at closing? And they go, oh, I can make an extra $1,000 a month. Oh, great. What would you do with the money? Oh, well, I'd hire an assistant. So now I'm into the benefit of the increase in income. I'm a sales trainer, but what I'm really selling is the benefit. Well, I can get into a great conversation with effective probing questions that I would script out in advance. Okay. Then we go into the benefits. And a great way to bring benefits to life is to tell success stories. So telling a story of somebody that you've helped, but script out the story. And the story formula is, here's the problem they had, here's the product they bought, here's the result it produced, and then here's what it meant to them. So Arby Robinson, one of my star clients, she had never been professionally trained in sales, and she was uncomfortable asking for the order. So that was her problem. She got involved with my sales mentor program. So that's what she bought. I got her professionally trained. We increased her confidence. Her sales skyrocketed. That's the result it produced. And then with the money, she was able to become a homeowner. And now she's debt free. So that's a story that I've told hundreds of times. And it's a script. Okay. So the point out of all this is that when you go into your presentations with a plan, the opposite of winging it, and you get these talk tracks that really land and connect with your prospects, your close ratio is going to go up. You're going to increase your confidence. You're going to become more successful. And it's a repetitive presentation. So if you're watching this and you're a coach, you have a coaching enrollment script. If you're a realtor, you have the listing presentation. If you sell solar, it's the solar presentation. If you're a consultant, it's the consultant. Whatever you do, it's a repetitive presentation. So this is what Dr. Moine taught me. This is how I went from a bottom producer to a top producer like that. And I never would have come up with this on my own. And to your point, very few people teach scripting. I happened to meet the living master, Dr. Moine, and I modeled it, and my sales skyrocketed. So what does that mean? Any of you watching this, if you learn what I'm teaching you, you need to find somebody like me that can teach it to you, okay? You need to find somebody that knows about scripting. There's a handful of us out there, me or somebody else. Find somebody that can teach it to you. And then what you can expect is instant improvement for life.
Wow. And I know you do run script writing courses for a lot of people, which is really, really, I think, beneficial. And anybody who's out there who wants to learn how to do script writing and have them analyzed and chewed up, and you're the person to go to, because I think it's very, very important to, like you said, to find the sequence of words that resonate with folks. It takes time, to come up with scripts for every aspect of your sales presentation, but once you have it down, boy, it just becomes automatic, and it just becomes easy because you know what you're going to say when you're going in, and it reduces fear. I think, Eric, reduces fear because
think about this.
Yes,
the anxiety that somebody has asking for the money. Some people they don't ask, right? Because they're afraid of what's going to happen. Sometimes it's not fear of asking for the order. It's not knowing what to say. Okay. Because if you know what to say and you know it's going to be positively received. Now, it doesn't mean everybody that I sell to buys, but there's no fear because I know what to say. And I just get to the end of the presentation, how do you feel about moving forward? Or are you ready to get started? Or, whatever the close is. But I have the talk track down. And if I didn't have the talk track down, I probably would have some anxiety. So call reluctance, uncomfortable with selling. A lot of times it's just not knowing what to say. Right?
Yes.
And so this helps with that. And what's great about it, it doesn't rely on you being a born sales superstar, because I wasn't. But once I got the words down, I was like, I can do this, And so this is something that is doable. And the reality is this: everybody should be taught sales scripting. It's just, for whatever reason, there's just not a lot of people out there that have this knowledge, that are passionate about teaching it. I happen to be one of those people that's passionate about teaching it, and it really does truly work.
Wow, that's fantastic. So we talked about probing questions just to understand what the client's need is. What's the next rung on the ladder is? Because I want you to give us a few examples in every section of the sales presentation, just to get us started in
Yeah.
thinking about how to word and script uh, different parts of the
You have
presentation.
to bring the benefits to life. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So one of the things that's said in sales, which I disagree with, what's said in sales is people buy you. All right. It's true to a point, but what people really buy are benefits. People do things for self-serving reasons. So if I'm selling piano lessons, you're not going to buy, because I don't know how to play the piano. You might like me, but you're not going to pay me to teach you piano. I'm not do that. But I know how to teach you sales scripting. So you might, I might have a pleasing personality and you like me and you're buying me, but you're really buying the benefit of my ability to, in this context, teach you sales scripting. So you want to list out all the benefits. What are the tangible benefits? Like, my product will make you money. It'll save you time. You'll live longer. You'll decrease employee turnover. Those are tangible benefits. Intangible benefits is like increased confidence, peace of mind. You can't quite put your finger on it, but we want increased confidence. We want peace of mind.
Yes.
So we want to make sure, if our product provides peace of mind, that we build that into our presentation. And then we have the benefit of taking action. Are there any things to motivate me to take action now, like an incentive, or, if you buy it now, here's the reason to buy it now. Then the consequences of not taking action, and then the benefit of the benefit. So when I helped Arby Robinson make more money, the benefit of the benefit is she became debt-free, right? So that was a benefit of the benefit. Nobody buys a Rolex watch to keep time. The benefit of a watch is to keep time. But if you want to keep time, you buy a Timex. You're not going to spend 10 grand on a watch to keep time. So the person buys the Rolex, I feel more confident. Or other people are going to, oh, wow, look, you're successful. You're wearing this fancy watch, right? People feel different. They're buying the watch for how they feel, not for what it does. A car provides transportation, but nobody's going to buy a Lexus for transportation. They feel more successful because they have a Lexus or a Tesla or whatever the luxury car is. It's important to know what you're selling. So we list all the benefits. Then we put the scripts or the talk tracks together to bring the benefits to life. And so we're going to script that out. Then we're going to get to the close. And in the close, it's explaining what's included, what's the investment, if you're selling a coaching package, what you're going to learn, length of the contract if you're in real estate, method of payment. We take PayPal, Venmo, cash, credit card, whatever. Payment terms, half down, half on delivery. If you pay in full, you get a 10% discount. So we have to describe how the money works, the length of the agreement, the guarantee or warranty. So the way I teach how to write a close, you list out every key thing you need to cover when you're explaining the offer. So you list it all out. Then you put it in order to create a closing outline. Each outline point is its own mini script or talk track. So if you have a guarantee, like my guarantee typically is 30-day unconditional money back guarantee. So when I get to the guarantee part, I would have to say something like this. We offer a 30-day unconditional money back guarantee, so you have absolutely no risk and everything to gain. That would be the talk track. So if you have a guarantee or a warranty, at what point in the close are you going to deliver that? And what's the talk track? What most people do, Rosalind, is they just wing it.
Yes.
If you really think about this logically, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. You're asking this person to become your client or customer. Okay. This is an important conversation because you're going to help them with your product or service, and they're going to be buying your product. You're making money, right? So I'm not going to say it's the most important conversation, but it's important.
Yes.
Okay. revenue is important. Acquiring a client is important. So, if you've been winging it in the past, the justification is, well, I didn't have an Eric Lofholm in my life to teach me a different way. Well, now I'm showing up in your life, and you really ought to, I'll give you guys some free bonuses at the end of this. You really ought to seek me out and find out how I can help you, because you don't want to wing it. Because if you wing it, here's the bottom line. You're going to leave sales on the table. Mm-hmm. And if what you're up to is important, which I'm sure it is, because you wouldn't be drawn to Rosalind's, being a part of her network and hearing today's show, you wouldn't be here if you weren't up to something important. So we need to take the time to learn the sales skills so we can get our message out to the world. We can get our product out to the world. You believe in what you're selling, because you wouldn't be selling it, right? So it's important to learn how to get that message out to the world so you can live your purpose, achieve your destiny, do what God's asked you to do here on planet Earth, right? We need to know how to do this. I'm able to do this much more powerfully because I took the time to learn sales. I had a Dr. Moyne come into my life, and now I'm a Dr. Moyne for my clients. And I teach them these things. Yeah, go ahead.
And Eric, as you think about it, scripting applies to every aspect of our business, even if I'm doing a presentation. Hopefully I'm thinking about any presentation. I'm talking on a topic. I want to script my words.
Yeah.
Social media, what I post, I really think about the order of my words and the concept I'm trying to convey and the spirit in which I'm trying to convey it. When you really, really think about it, it's just being a lot more intentional, being intentional about the ways that we put our words and how we put them in order, and the spirit in which we're saying things. That's what you're basically saying, is just be very intentional, because it's that important.
Well, you bring up a really great point, because how many times did somebody post on social media and regret it, and they went back and they deleted it? Okay.
Yes.
And in some cases, too late, because somebody screenshotted it or somebody saw it. Okay. Let's take it a step further. Let's go into our romantic relationship, right? In that case, it's my wife, right? I have to be intentional with how I communicate with her. And if I get upset, which that's part of being a human being, I need to be mindful of what I say to her in writing, like if I text her, or what I say in the spoken word, right? Because if I say the wrong thing, now you can't unring a bell. Okay. And one of the benefits for me, because my first marriage didn't work out, right? So the benefit was all that stuff, water under the bridge, all the negative communication that I had with my first wife. I learned from that. I was like, okay, with my new wife, we've been together for 6 years. With my new wife, it's like, okay, I'm not going to make that mistake again. And thank God I learned that. All right. But it's so important. You said the word is so powerful. Intention.
Yes.
Okay. When we communicate with our employees, our joint venture partners, from the front of the room in a speech, on a Facebook Live, like right now, as I'm delivering this message, I have to be very intentional. I want to be inspiring, encouraging. I want to give great content. I want to be enthusiastic. And I want to make sure that my message is relevant, because anybody watching, I value that you're here. You gave us your time.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're intentional with your words, and here's the thing, you can learn how to get more yeses. Okay. Building rapport is critical. And a lot of people, they go into communication and they don't build rapport, and they wonder, why isn't this working?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's so much to learn that can take you from Clark Kent to Superman, right? Or the female version of that, Superwoman.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I'm a former college dropout, cook at McDonald's, bottom producing salesperson, and I'm an international trainer. And so much of that has to do with, I got better with my words, and I've documented all these processes into modules and books and so forth. And so it's there. If you're watching this and you really want to learn this, all you have to do is just immerse yourself in the content. And this is a piece of advice. Anytime you join a program, right? You join some course, a mentor program, a lot of times people join and they don't immerse. And
No,
so if you just immerse yourself, anything you do with Rosalind, anytime you join her, immerse yourself in the content so you can get the powerful information that she has to share with you.
absolutely.
And
So,
sometimes people don't immerse, and they're like, how come I'm not getting the results? Well, you didn't immerse yourself in the content.
well, I attempted to eat, drink, and sleep Eric Lofholm. As I was working through your program, and that's what makes the difference, a humongous difference, because then you instill the content. Then I
That's
walk
right.
around after a while, I'm a little mini Eric Lofholm.
Yep.
So to speak, and you're carrying your vision on.
That's right.
If I approach it that way, and as a matter of fact, in our we're going to have a 6-week master your mega money mindset, and part of this we'll be talking about the mindset in regards to sales and scripting. And in addition to that, we're going to really start looking at people's um, their steps in selling and see where they're strong and where they need to improve. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more, Eric, because I definitely want you to be part of this in some way, because I think once you are able to see your blind spot in the selling process where you need to maybe create better scripts, then this is when you start seeing the magic happens. The magic begins to happen.
And
And that's what
also, it might not be their blind spot. Like, they might be fully aware. Like, they look in the
that
rearview mirror
too.
and they can see it, but they're just avoiding it, right? Like, I know
That too. That too. And that's why there's accountability in our program too, is to call them out on the carpet.
Yes.
If you're really, really serious, the bottom line, if you're really, really serious about making changes to double your income, and you see that there's limited beliefs in regards to sales, your attitude towards money, and even about your ability to create wealth. Some people have this imposter syndrome issue. If you're really serious about upgrading that, then we're here to help. We're tools. But like you said, the pupil and their attitude and how serious they are is everything.
That's right.
Is everything. You got to be hungry.
Yep. That's right.
And I see, okay, I can't believe it. This half hour has almost ended. But I want you to just a few comments, make a few comments about, there's always objections. And if you can make a few comments about objection handling, it throws a lot of salespeople off. I know, and I've heard this enough from clients, how they personalize it, and there's something there in them that is triggered when they hear objections. So can you address that a little bit?
Yeah. Objections is a normal, natural part of the sales process. I get them at my level. So if you get to the end of your presentation and they say, the price is too high, or I don't have the money, I need to talk it over with my spouse or my partner, the timing just isn't right, that's totally normal. So when I get to the end and I'm selling one-on-one, I'm going to ask for the order and be silent. And it's like giving the prospect a hot potato. They're going to say yes, they're going to say no, or they're going to give me an objection. And it's totally predictable. And if they give you an objection, there's nothing wrong. So I ask for the order. How do you feel about moving forward? And they say, the price is too high. So now I have the hot potato. So what do I want to do? Give it back to them. Other than the price, is there anything else preventing you from moving forward? Or is that your only concern? Or how much too much is it? So there's a banter that goes on back and forth between you and the prospect. And I call that banter elegantly dancing with the prospect. So the way we get better is with a system. And it's how do you dialogue in just a very natural conversational way when they say the price is too high. And the better you get at that dialogue and the more confident you get. And by all means, don't be triggered by it. It's just normal. It doesn't mean anything wrong. It's just part of how people make buying decisions. They have these objections.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. And again, scripting that out.
Yep.
When you do enough sales presentations, you begin to hear the objections over and over again. And I think we should be ready for those objections. And here you are, just quickly, Eric, just spilling out questions to ask the prospect.
They're up here,
Because
because
now
I
you
did script them.
instilled it.
That
Yeah,
became the script. Like, so
you be
you're exactly right.
exactly.
And any of you could learn to say, is that your only concern? So that's one specific talk track for any objection. So I need to talk it over with my husband. Is that your only concern? The price is
Mhm.
too high. Is that your only concern? I need to think about it. Is that your only concern? And so you exactly what Rosalind's saying. You get those scripts up here and you internalize it, and then you can just very confidently, very just in your the flow of the conversation. Well, is that your only concern?
That's excellent. That's excellent. And so I want to honor your time, Eric. And so I will ask you, how can we get in contact with you if people want to go even more deeply with this? You're the man. Please
Yeah.
share how we can get in contact with you.
I'm the only Eric Lofholm in the world. So if you Google me and I show up, that's me. I'm all over social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So whatever way you like to do social media, I love to connect with you. And I'd also like to offer you a free course. So if you like the conversation today and you'd like to get some great free training, just email me, eric@ericlofholm.com, and let me know you saw me on Rosalind's show and you're asking for the free course. And I'll send you a really great sales course on the house to take what you learned today to a little bit deeper level.
That's beautiful. And I frequently go to YouTube to brush up. You're all on YouTube, Eric.
Yep.
And I still, after all these years, I still come up with nuggets. And I don't remember him saying that. And, I'm still growing every time I look at your YouTube channel. So I really would recommend that also. And is there any last word that you'd like to say to the audience?
Well, if any of you are uncomfortable with sales, I want you to know you can break through that. I want you to know, even if you don't believe it, I believe 100% in your ability to break through that. And just know that. I want you to take that hope with you today that you can get better at sales. It's really a choice if you want to get better.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And with that, I want to thank you again, Eric, for being here and just helping us elevate our game. And until next time, everyone, peace and blessings. Bye bye for now.
Bye-bye.